You know, my entire career has basically been known as a Colt starting trainer, and I've competed in a lot of, Colt starting competitions. Been fortunate enough to win most of them that I've been in. It's because that's where my focus has been, and I really feel like that the foundation, the first encounter that these horses have with a human being, if it's pretty good, we got something we can build on. But if there's been a hole, if there's been fear put in there, if there's been anger put in there, if there's been some kind of fight put in there that that's going to work against us from the first time, boy, we're gonna have trouble. So I feel like that understanding these colts and helping them to get comfortable is probably the best thing that we can do for them and for ourselves as we go through the training process. The way that I have developed over the years to start this foundation with these colts has been quite a process, and it continues to be an ongoing learning process for myself. But the basic foundation that I'm going to use will not change. I know exactly what I want these colts to look like. I know what I want them to feel like, and I know what I want them to do. By that I mean either moving their feet or not moving their feet when I suggest it. That's what I refer to as my clear mental picture. And when I hold fast to that clear mental picture, then the time that it takes to develop in the colts is not on my terms. It's about how soon, or not even that, but when the animal sees my picture, I need to arrange it so that they feel peace at that moment. So I don't make these horses do anything. I just don't let them not do what my picture tells me they should be doing. And when they're allowed to find that sweet spot, and that's up to me. It's up to me to show them when they're trying to do the thing that I want, they're going to feel peace every time. If they're not trying to do what I want, then they're going to experience the resistance that comes with their resistance. On that resistance, I think it's key that I will meet them at the level of resistance they give to me. I'm not going to put more resistance in there if I put too much pressure on when they're searching, or maybe they're not searching. I might have to do a little bit more than I want to, but it's all based on how the horse is responding to me. And I'm keen to watch that eye, watch that ear, watch their muscle tone, which is I call reading the horse. I'm keen to read that horse, and as soon as I see them try just a little bit mentally, then I'm going to let them see that door of peace is opening up right there, and they'll step into that door of peace right at that moment if I arrange it. And see, these colts, this is their first day here, and I've worked them just a little bit. They already kind of want to be around me here, which is what I want my horses to do. Soft-eyed, attentive, eager for me to tell them when to move. Why are they like that? Because I make it feel better to them when they listen to me than when they don't. She just left me there and went over there looking for a handout, so I'll put her to work a little bit, and I'm always mindful of what they're doing when I'm around them. I'm always mindful, and I think that's important to know, to key into as well. In other words, the training is taking place continuously every moment that you're around your horse. If you're not mentally there with that and thinking on those lines, they'll take 2 or 3 steps that you weren't involved with, and next thing you know, they think they're loose, so they've got no reason to listen to you. But if you're involved with every step and every thought that they have, and you arrange it to where when they are peaceful, or are doing the thing that you want, and that's the best place to be, a horse will always take the path of least resistance when it's presented to him in that way. These colts together for the first time, none of them have been together ever. This is their first experience, and they've been kind of milling around here and establishing a little bit of dominance. And I'm gonna just get involved with their process. And what I want is for these colts to, just like this one right here is attention's on me. I want to get that attention to be on me so that I can get each one of these colts to do exactly what I want them to do. In other words, I'm not going to just send them and let them then run off. I want to be involved in the whole process. So this one down here is just down here ignoring. She's looking outside, so I'll get her started moving. Let them kind of join up here together. I'm going to send this one, get his feet moving. So I'm using driving pressure right here. Let him go by. When that first filly went through, when they start to go by me, like this colt went through, it should start to develop a flow where they want to come past me. I'll just send them on. See, she blocked up and she was ignoring my driving pressure and she was paying more attention to the other colts. Now she's a little bit intimidated being up in there with strangers, so she's pretty protective of herself here. I send her. I've increased the energy, I've increased the driving pressure just a little bit more so that I can be more involved in where they're going. Now we've got a little bit of flow until if we had a disruption up here. He just ran through me right there, but I'll send these on down. Right at the moment, they don't know what I want, where they should be. They're trying to find their own way. They're trying to find a place where they can be comfortable. It's all that we've got working here. This colt here wants to be a little dominant, so I'm going to send him a little bit more. Yeah, get it. I'm gonna become the dominant horse to this foal. He's a gelding, the other two are fillies. So he just kind of braced up, more like a stud than a gelding. He is a gelding, but he just kind of braced up and ran through me. I'm moving his feet. Whenever you see a horse that's got their head up in this rigid posture and he's got his jaw locked and he's tight, he's not comfortable. He's just exhibiting defensiveness. So I'll just send him on while I'm working this colt. These two are getting to find a place to rest. Now there was a change right there that happened at that water fountain. When that colt came through, he dropped his head, he softened up. So I'm gonna leave him alone. We'll go down here and get these involved here again. Let's send the roan filly on here. There we go. I'd like for her to just walk. Let's get the bay. Come on. They're more interested in the horses that are in the stalls beside them here right now, which is not normal. Now, when we got these fillies back involved, this colt kind of bowed up again. So I'll just send him on. That will all disappear here in a little bit. I'm not going to let one just go down there and look out the window and keep looking out the window like these two are right now. Now I'm going to stop them right there. She ain't paying attention. Send them up there and hold them. This colt's not paying any attention. Let her get a drink while she's got the opportunity over there. I'm letting them settle there just a little bit. letting their heart rate come down a little bit, let their heads come down a little bit, let them think a little bit. I'm going to stop him pushing on me right away here. He needs to move away from me when he feels my pressure, not into that pressure. It's normal for a horse when they first start to step up into pressure, but we got to show them that stepping away. Stepping away. See, he just stayed up against me right there. But when he did move, I let him step away from me. I'm going to send him back down with these fillies. Let them go by. If they were paying attention to me, they would have already started walking down through here, but they're sitting over there looking outside. Just trying to get things working here where we've got them paying attention to me out of interest. Get them to respect me enough that I can move them when I want to move them. I can stop them when I want to stop them. Get it back. I'm going to keep a little more pressure on this colt for a second here. I want him to turn and face me here. Get up. Just held a little pressure on him so he can lay down some of that defensiveness. Meanwhile, these fillies got to rest again. Come back in the pen here. She's outside now, she's back in. I just went around her and protected her from him. They should just walk on by over there. They'd quit looking outside, quit hanging out at the water fountain. There's always going to be a spot that takes their attention. Just normal. I'm going to change direction here. Send them off the other way. I'm going to remain a little more aggressive to the sorrel colt because he is exhibiting quite a bit of resistance at this point. My goal here is to become the most important element in the pen here to these colts. If they'll listen to me, instead of checking out, I'll let them step into freedom. But I need to be able to move their feet when I want to move them. See, when she got her feet moving, she just left. She just left. I'm just taking mental notes of that. You know, look there, those two. The sorrel colt has laid down his defensiveness against the roan filly. There it's back again. They're just sparring to see who's going to be higher in this pecking order. The bay filly just wants to kind of hang on the outside, keep looking outside. I'm not very interesting to her yet. And send it, raise the energy there so I don't have to take so long to get her down there with them. Raise that energy when she goes outside. I've increased the energy here to get some sort of flow working together. If I let them look out the window too long, that becomes the easy thing. And they'll just stand there and take that every time. So I just need them moving, walking all I want. There we go. Got him. There goes the next one. Come on, babe. Get up there. Come on. I like that they just walked off that time. You can feel the energy letting down in here. They're getting quieter. Every time that sorrel colt creates aggression, I'm going to become the aggressor. He's just braced and leaning into me, and I'm just holding pressure up against that brace. There's a little bit of change, wrong direction. Still braced, throwing his head, playing. He's fat and feeling good. There was a change. And we'll start this roan filly down the fence. Come on. Come on, babe. If she would have looked left, she could have come out of there real easy, but her attention got drew off the wrong way. Then she felt more pressure. She's outside, she's not with me, so it's going to be hard for her to walk down it. There she comes. Come on, back in the pen. Come on. Come on. Come on. Fillies are trying to conform a little bit. The gelding still thinks he needs to be in charge. Send them on here like this. Come on. Come on. Yep. There we go. Each time that they're listening to me, I'm softening up on them. As soon as he looked in at me, I stopped. I come up here with him, my hands on him, soften up, let him breathe, let me breathe, let him know that he's okay. So what I did was I put pressure on aggressive behavior, and I rewarded him listening to me, rubbing on him. And Trying to draw him to me here just a little bit. He's hung on the fence right there, the feed pen right in front of him. Get it. There we go. Let's get a step forward here. There. Get stopped. There's a draw. Send him on here. Send him. Pushing in the right eye. Drawing in the left eye. Bring these fillies down here now. Pushing on the left eye. Drawing on the left eye. These fillies looking outside. I'm pushing on the right eye. Drawing on the left eye. She's outside. I'm going to work just a bay filly here for a second. Get her with me a little bit more. I'm going to ignore the sorrel colt right now. I'm working just a bay. Push on that. Got a good attitude there, but she's not listening to me. She's just trotting away from me. If that fence wasn't here, she'd have left. There's a big change right there. I'm going to back up and let her have a minute. Let her breathe. Let her think about things. Look at those ears. Up, back. She left. Bring her back here to me. She's still gone. So, in order to create that draw, I use putting a little pressure on, which is driving. I'm going to go just touch her right now. She left. She left. That's okay. She's gone. There she's back. I'm going to go touch her. I'm watching. Now when she brings full attention on me, I'm stopping. When she's got her attention away, I'm approaching. And she draws, looks at me, I stop. Now she's decided that it's okay for me to come touch her. So I'll just put my hands on her here, reassure that she's not in trouble, that when I'm close to her, it's going to feel good. But when she is not looking, not paying attention, she's feeling more pressure. These colts are starting to settle here a little bit. I'm going to go touch the roan. Yeah, touch this colt here. I want all of them to know that my presence represents peace. I want them to also know that their lack of attention on me creates work for them. Lack of attention down here on the bay, full attention from the sorrel and the roan. So these two are going to help me work this one right now. The two behind me are coming to my back. There's no pressure whatsoever. The bay filly insists on just looking out the window. It's all right. Yep, she looked back in. So let her have some peace. She said, how come them two down there aren't working and I'm up here working? I'm going to let her think about that while these are looking outside. Put them to work. Roan to the left. Sorrel got about half his brain with me. Now the roan came back in. So I'm going to let them look at me there. We'll send this filly down here and let her get with those other two. Now, sometimes in the beginning, when a colt wishes you would just kind of leave, they'll stick their nose on the ground and act like they're not paying attention to you, and it's their kind of their way of sneaking out the back door. Now we've got them at least congregated together. Remember, this is the first time that these three have been together, so they had to sort of establish who was in charge and where they were going to fit, and they were kicking at one another early and not enjoying themselves too much. Now look at this sorrel and the roan. I'm becoming the most important animal in this pen, and that was my goal for this morning, was to get that done with all of these. Bay is starting to come around. There she came. I'm going to back up just a little bit, give her a little room, and let them stand there in the peace of thinking about, how come am I peaceful now, where just a minute ago I was having to work so hard. And this isn't about physical exhaustion. This is about getting inside their mind and arranging it so that my idea becomes their idea. And right now, at this point, what I'm wanting is to be able to control where they go, the speed they go, and where they're looking. Here we go. Draw them in here. She left. It's okay. She didn't know that wasn't the best deal for her, but I'll show her. This is not the best deal. You run down here where there's a lot more work. You run down here where life isn't so good. There's a lot better right there. She just looked at me out of that right eye just slightly. So that's what I'm watching as I've been working with these colts. Where they're looking, where their attention is going to determine what I do. Because the first thing that I'm doing out here with them is feeling for them. And by that I mean I'm looking at him and I'm assessing. Is this colt comfortable? Is he fearful? Is he frustrated? Is he mad? What kind of emotion is this colt in right at the moment? And just like kids going to school, when you first go in that classroom, you don't know anybody in there, especially if it's a new school for you. So you're not very comfortable. So it's going to take you a little bit to establish who your friends are and who you want to hang around with. And so that's kind of what these colts are going through. They look at the change in especially the sorrel colt. He's laid down that defensiveness. And they've left looking at their nephews on the outside. They get it next year, you know. The weanlings are out there watching this process. It'd be handy if it worked where they could actually learn something by watching. But it doesn't work that way. Regardless of how they're bred, regardless of what kind of background they have, they all have to be shown what the right thing is and what the wrong thing is. They don't just arrive here knowing. Now we're getting some flow working a little bit. See, the aggressiveness right there from the bay filly is not really aggressiveness, it's insecurity. She didn't want to get trapped between those two horses. I don't blame her. Send this roan on here. Let's just keep letting them flow around. I'd like for them to be going around the outside of the pen single file at a walk. Now I've got to start the front one, then the middle, then bring the back. See, if I just start the back, then I just jam the back up into the front, and I got a traffic jam on. She had to get out of her lane. That's okay. We'll let her be the front horse. She left. Defensive again. Come on. Let's see if we can get him stopped right there. start this roan filling. She's just rolling on. She's not listening to me. So I'm gonna stay with her. Not let her feel like she got to roll on and leave me and escape right there. So I'm staying right there. By staying right there, I mean my focus is just behind the shoulder, about where my left leg would be if I was on her. Let me see if I can see. When I stepped over to stop her, she just ran through. So I'm keeping a little pressure on her, sending her on around. Sending her on around. Now she's found herself in a spot where it doesn't feel as good as it had because of the pressure that I'm applying. It's not an overly amount, but I'm not letting her just move her feet and leave. There she stopped. Now she's out there watching those colts. Send her on here. Now I became a little more important there. She looked back at me. I'm going to go up and touch her. So I had kind of an end goal in mind for all three of them together. And we started working them together. But then I worked each one of them individually. Now she just left again. By left, I mean just mentally. I mean, she's not running away. But if the fence wasn't here, she would not be in my presence. And I want to have their mind to where their attention on me, that they're wanting to stay around. Smoothing, muscle smoothing touch on their body when I get close is going to be helpful. I just want them to start right away associating that when I'm close, I'm going to protect them. I'm going to make them feel as good as I possibly can. And all she needs to do is stay here. And I'll just rub on her. Notice I'm not spending a lot of time at this point up by their head. I'm spending more time on their body. I'm watching the head and letting the head be a tool so I can see their eyesight. Where they're looking is going to help me determine what they're thinking about and how they're feeling. I want them to be as comfortable as I can possibly get them. They're starting to figure out that, man, every time this guy gets close to me, it feels pretty good. I think I want to hang out with him. The little activity went on outside the pen, drew my attention, drew their attention. So all of us got to come back here in the pen. She's not with me. Now she is. Go up and touch her. Okay, so I'm going to let that be their first day of school. And I got them acclimated to each other, established a little bit of the idea that I can move them when I want to move them. I can stop them when I want to stop them. I can change direction when I want to change direction. But mainly, this first day was no more than to get them comfortable. And so we've got something we can build on now.